Welcome back, my friends. I hope you're doing well. We have another class guide for Brotato, and today we're going to be playing one of my favorite classes, the Fisherman. This class has a very interesting mechanic where you get less money from enemies, but you get a bait in every single shop, which lets you stack up damage, and you get harvesting from those baits, which means that you can get money if you continue to buy baits. What this means is that we need to be able to clear a horde of very difficult enemies at the beginning of every round, because we're going to buy several baits. And for that reason, I think the easiest and most consistent weapon to use on the Fisherman is the spear, and we can just go spear fishing. So let's pick that and get right into it. One thing I highly recommend when you're using the spear is you should have manual aiming on. To hold click to aim manually, and that way you can make sure that you're hitting multiple enemies with every attack. Got a little lucky there, we got a tree. I'm taking damage because I want to make sure to pick up every material in this first wave. Our goal is to hit 65 material out of the first wave, which you can't always do consistently because there's only a 50% chance that each enemy drops material. But if we hit 65, then we're in really good shape for the coming shop. I'm going to be grabbing max HP early. We just need to be able to survive waves of incoming damage, so that's important. As you can see, there's a bait in every single shop, and it only costs 1 to buy, so we'll buy it and roll. Then we're going to buy a spear and roll. Roll and buy a bait, roll and buy a bait, and hope we hit a spear on this roll. We did, so that's perfect, and we can buy a bait. And the reason we wanted 65 is that lets us afford 3 spears and 5 bait off of our first run. Off of our first shopping trip. You don't need this necessarily, but it's a nice clean way to purchase a lot of stuff, and the more bait you get earlier, the more harvesting you get early, and the harvesting stacks multiplicatively with itself, so having more of it early is good. If you hold the mouse when you start a wave, you get an attack before the enemies spawn a little bit, and you can use that to make sure that you are attacking and clearing these enemies out before they can start shooting you too much. We do always take a little bit of damage in these first couple waves, but in wave 1, the enemy projectiles only do 1 point of damage each, so we can tank through them a little bit. Later on, of course, we're going to have to dodge much better than I did in that round, but for now, it's relatively safe to just tank and try to clear the enemies as quickly as possible. We multiply our damage a ton, so flat damage is good. We'll take melee damage whenever we see it, and obviously we don't really need to take percentage damage because we're stacking that up by buying baits, so we'll just buy armor. Got bait. Crit chance is really good, but I'm really looking to get up to 5 spears if we can. Looks like we'll only be able to afford 4 this round, but we're still going to roll for the next one. Buy another bait, and 1 more bait, and we'll go up to 10 bait, and we actually get to lock in a spear as well. The lumberjack shirt is an item I usually buy every time I see it, so I would lock it on a normal character. On this character, though, our damage is going to stack so high that trees will already die in 1 hit, so we don't need to go out of our way to get it, although we will get it later on if it shows up just to improve our shops. This is where dodging well becomes important, because the enemy projectiles now do 2 damage, so you can die much more easily. That's why we picked up that maximum HP. The enemy, I think they're called lampreys or leeches. The bait enemies will continuously spawn as well, which is a unique mechanic to this character. The more bait you have, the more of them spawn every wave, so that if you stack up a ton of bait, they can become really dangerous really quickly. I'm going to be grabbing some attack speed here because more attack speed is really important for this character as well. We would take any of these level 2 upgrades. They're all really good for us, but I think of those, attack speed is the best right now. We'll get the level 2 spear, which is really nice to see. Get this, and then we do need some form of regeneration. I generally prefer HP regeneration to lifesteal, but we would take either. However, I think we're going to wait 1 round so that we can make sure we pick up enough bait. I like to be averaging 4 per shopping trip. I'm going to lock this claw tree, though, because it's really powerful for us. Crit chance and melee damage are always really good when we're stacking our percentage damage so high. Let's roll once more, and I'll buy one more bait, and I think we can actually get away with going up to 5 bait on this run, because we have a level 2 spear, so things are actually going pretty well for us right now. Do I want to go to 6? You know what, let's get greedy. I mean, you don't play the Fisherman to not get greedy, so we now are at 16 bait as going into wave 4. We could die here because we don't have a lot of defensive stats, but just need to dodge well. The level 2 spear gives us a lot of leeway because we clear the enemies much faster. Trying to pick up as much money as we can, of course. Even though most of our money comes from harvesting, we still want to pick up materials that are on the ground. Alright, here I'm going to be taking probably just more melee damage. I do really want some healing at some point again, like I've mentioned before, but for now, melee damage is really important, and then we got a really good shop there. So we will be able to pick up a ton of damage. Let's keep rolling. We're looking for bait, and we're looking for more spears. I really would like to get to 6 spears, but it looks like we're not going to hit that. Found another really good item for us. Losing a little harvesting isn't a huge deal, but getting the melee damage stacked up is, of course, really important. Alright, here we finally get to lock a spear, and we'll pick up another bait. Up to 22, which is great for this shopping trip. We are averaging a ton. Plus HP from consumables is something I will also pick up. We really do need ways to heal. We don't have enough luck to be dropping a lot of consumables right now, but later on we'll start stacking luck. Wave 5 is pretty dangerous because the enemy projectiles do 5 damage now. So luckily we do have our max HP stacked a little bit, and one reason you go with spears is that you get the primitive weapons synergy bonus, which stacks max HP. Gives you a little more leeway to be able to tank hits in the early rounds. Oh, I want to hit that tree. Yeah, alright, we got the tree right at the end. Okay, more melee damage is perfect, and here I'm going to start picking up some regeneration. Get that back into the positives. Gonna buy out this whole shop. Take our free reroll. Here I'm going to be taking armor and more bait. And leather vest is one of the best items that we can get. I'm going to grab luck and one more bait. We only bought 3 this round, but that's actually okay. Wave 6, I think, is one of the most dangerous. Wave 6, 10, 11... I guess wave 6, 10, and 11 are the most dangerous ones, and you should consider buying fewer bait on those waves, because you won't have your defensive stats ready. But we've still averaged 5 per shop, so feeling really good about that. Oop, took a hit there that I didn't need to, but because we only bought 3 bait, this is much easier. I should also mention that you can pretty easily win on Fisherman just by not buying the bait, and just playing him as a character with a nerfed chop. That's obviously more boring, though, than doing it the way you were meant to. Let's get this tree. Tanked a couple hits there, but that was totally fine. We'll take lifesteal for -2 harvesting, because lifesteal definitely helps us as well. I actually am going to take 9% speed here. I think speed is a really nice stat to have on the Fisherman. Just lets you dodge around the leeches a little better. Alright, nice. We got another level 2 spear, so that's really good. And in fact, this whole shop is really good for us. We can't afford to buy it all out, but I will buy the vest first, and we're going to lock the riposte and roll. Grab this, and I'm going to grab some health regeneration as well, and roll a little more, and grab one more bait. I'm going to lock in HP from consumables. We did only buy 3 baits this round, but that's okay. We'll start stacking them up again for some of the less difficult waves in future waves. Notice that we are having a little bit of trouble clearing these guys. Our damage is lower. Relative to the health of the enemies, at least. And part of that's because we bought fewer baits, so we're not stacking up 40% damage every run if we're only buying 3. We only get 24% damage, or every shopping run. Oh, tanked that hit for no reason. But on this character, I like to get really greedy with baits early and then play a little more conservatively through the mid-game. Alright, here, I'm just going to grab max HP. That will help keep us alive. We will buy, again, probably all 3 of these, or all of these. Take our free reroll. And I'll buy a spear here. And a bait. And roll for a bait. Anything we want here. We could take the mushroom. More regeneration is definitely going to be valuable for us, so I'll lock that, roll, and buy a bait. And I'm still going to lock in the Peaceful Bee, even though it reduces our melee damage. I think 4% dodge and 4 harvesting, and Peaceful Bee I think is just a really efficient item. So getting our dodge up to 60 early is one of our priorities. So we bought 4 bait, and going into wave 8 here. The normal enemies in these waves very quickly become not really a threat, because you stack your damage so high. So really it's about having the ability to survive these early waves of lampreys. Oh, I tanked a lot of hits there for no good reason. One thing I like about the spear build is it gives you a little leeway to mess up your dodges, like I have been doing sometimes. Ouch. Alright. Now I need to actually stop messing up my dodges, though. I say, and then immediately get hit. Alright. We'll tighten up for the next round. I will take plus XP gain and minus range. Range is okay for us, but not amazing. It does slow down our attack speed, which we need. So I'll grab that. I'm obviously going to grab plus melee damage there. And here, Mastery is one of the best items we could see in the shop, so we'll definitely grab that. I'm going to lock all that in. More trees is really nice too, but I do want to make sure that we're buying out more bait. And Shackles is also pretty interesting for us. 8 regeneration means that we would actually have appreciative regeneration speed. I think we won't lock it, though. Nor will we lock this mushroom, because I'm just looking for more spears at this point. And I will lock the claw tree, just because it's so good for this character class. Alright, so we've got a whole shop locked, so we know we're buying everything out next round. And let's keep on going. One thing that we haven't managed to pick up much of this run is luck, and luck of course is really good because there's so many more enemies per wave than normal, so more chance of getting drops from those enemies is even better on the Fisherman than it is on other classes, and I think luck is one of the best stats kind of regardless. And on this particular build, we've also stacked up plus HP from consumables, so from the fruits that drop. Oh, taking a little bit of projectile damage there. So luck is even better. I had to tank a hit there because I got myself kind of trapped on the side. But you can see we're starting to get quite a lot of money every run. Let's pick up health regeneration, and 15% attack speed is really nice. And then we already know exactly what our shop is going to be, so we're buying it all out and locking it. Here I'm going to get bait and the leather vest. Again, I think leather vest is a really good item that you should buy on just about everybody. Armor and dodge is useful on every character class. Still don't really need the lumberjack shirt, but I'm going to buy it anyways just for the sake of removing it from our future shops, because it's pretty cheap. I'm hesitant to stack -1 HP recovered from consumables, but more regeneration and more max HP is, again, really important for us, so we'll grab that, and I'll grab this. I'm going to lock the spear, I'll lock the bag as well, and spend my money on another bait instead of buying those right away. Alright, took a lot of damage in that early run, but we do have some regeneration. And even though we took -1 HP from consumables, we still have 4 healing from consumables, so they're still very efficient for us. Max HP is the next thing that we really need to stack up. Max HP, dodge, armor, and some kind of healing. Right now we kill everything in pretty much one shot, so damage is looking really good, although of course we'll keep stacking it to make sure we're keeping up with the health gain from every wave. If you fight with spears in the corner like this, you get a little more efficiency because the enemies are all coming from the same direction, so you can hit more with a single spear thrust. Of course, that means you're giving up trees and things like that, but in these more difficult later waves, it's often good to stick yourself in the corner. Alright, we're going to grab crit chance. That helps make sure that our damage is still doing well. Grab this, this, and this. Alright, do we want shackles at this point? It would mean not purchasing any... okay, well, I accidentally misclicked on it, so I guess we're buying that. I was going to say it would mean not purchasing any bait, because it costs 15 to reroll, but of course it actually did reduce our reroll cost to 0. So we do get to buy 1 more bait, and I'm going to lock in the propeller hat, because we're going to want more luck going forward. We only picked up 2 bait this wave, but that's okay, because wave 11 is one of the difficult waves. I probably wouldn't have bought the shackles there, but I accidentally tagged the spacebar as I was moving my hand. So, turns out spacebar buys items, I didn't realize that. Luckily, this build is robust enough that you can overcome a couple mistakes. Which is one reason I wanted to do this guide, is to show how even someone with not great dodges can still win with and a couple mechanical errors, can still win with the Fisherman, even though I think it's one of the hardest classes, as long as you build and plan well. Getting a little lucky on my percentage chance dodges there, because I keep walking into projectiles, but then not taking damage from them. If you have a choice between getting hit by a projectile or an enemy, get hit by the projectile, because enemies do more damage than projectiles do. Here we'll definitely take just some free lifesteal. Ooh, we found a bait on the ground. I mean, I'll take it. It only is worth 1, but it's still worth picking up. And then here, I could grab regeneration or armor. I think we'll go with armor. Now that we have 8 armor, we take 35% less damage, so that's starting to really stack up. If we can get that to like a 50% damage reduction, then that improves our game significantly. Alright, well, let's buy the propeller hat and bait, and roll and buy bait. Lucky Charm, I think, is too good to pass up, even though it reduces our melee damage. 30 luck is a ton, and that will give us a lot of extra ability to generate consumables. Let's grab that. Here, I'm a little bit hesitant to pick up the Peaceful Bee, but I think we still should, just getting our dodge up, especially because we also rolled into the Goat Skull. Only picked up 3 bait that wave, but again, we're in the difficult portion, and then later on we're going to stack up baits to like 100 in the next couple waves. we do kind of one-shot all these normal enemies. It's really only the bait enemies that are worth, or that can possibly kill us at this point. Alright, let's actually catch this elite and kill him. I do have to walk through some enemies to catch up to him, because this is one of the elites that runs away from you. So we'll just run straight after him. Make sure to clear him out. There we go. Had to tank a lot of damage to do that, but we've stacked armor and dodge at this point, so we're okay. And you can, with manual attacks, run through crowds of enemies more easily. So like if you want to draw a straight line through a crowd of enemies, you can just force attack ahead of you and make sure you're clearing a path in front of you as you go. 2 armor is great. Minus 3% damage is irrelevant because we've got 366% damage. And here we get extra XP gain, engineering, which is useless to us, for minus HP. I think I will just recycle this for 47 materials, even though the XP gain is mildly useful. It's not a huge boost, and losing max HP at this point is pretty bad. Here, obviously, I'm going to take the healing for minus 4 harvesting. That is basically irrelevant when we have this much harvesting. Alright, we'll grab some crit chance, and we finally got another spear, so we can level up our spears. Let's grab this. In fact, I think I'm going to buy this shop out again. This is 19 health regeneration, so that gives us quite an effective heal. We're basically at 4 health a second. Bait and roll and bait and roll. We're just going to buy out a ton of bait this round. I am going to pick up this duct tape because more armor is always good. Bait, and we'll lock in this spear, and we're good to go. So that was 5 bait this round. We're up to 52. At this point, we one-shot all of these enemies, including the special enemies, because we have enough damage, so we can start buying way more bait if we want to, pretty safely. Tank to hit there, so the main things that we're looking out for are just max HP, like defensive stats like max HP, dodge, and armor, and just more baits. Took a little damage there just to make sure I was grabbing the tree. Alright, we'll definitely take regeneration and lifesteal, and we will take melee damage still, even over max HP. Alright, let's combine, and we'll buy a spear. We could buy the Wandering Bot, but we don't necessarily need that this round. We didn't get much money last round, so I'm just going to spend out on more baits this round. Alright, able to afford 5, so we're up to 57. I'd like to hit 100 before the end of the game, just mostly for fun. Let's make sure we're just attacking this elite. There we go. Tanked a lot of damage to do that, but I just wanted to make sure I was clearing him quickly. And we have so much regeneration that as long as we don't die, we're okay tanking some damage. Probably the best item for us would be the item that gives you max HP for picking up consumables while at full health, because maximum HP is basically the only stat we're missing. At this point, I probably will start taking it over melee damage when it's offered. We have enough damage to clear things for the next couple waves without any difficulties. Starting to stack up a lot of extra materials here. Alright, max HP, luck, and minus 5% damage. This panda is amazing for us. Really great find. Max HP is now looking a little better, so I'll take dodge over it. Then we're going to grab a spear and a bait and roll. Bait. I could get XP gain and melee damage in exchange for luck. I think at this point, though, I just want to stack up more bait. On the other hand, the hedgehog is cheap enough that we'll pick it up anyways. And we'll lock in this spear. I will also lock in the blood leech. Even more healing can certainly not hurt. Alright, my goal for this run, this wave, is to actually pick up a lot of these materials, because we're starting to fall behind on the material pickup curve. Like, we've stacked up so many doubled materials that we're having trouble picking up that many in a single wave. Which means that we're leaving a lot of value on the table. So I'm going to kind of play, and we're pretty hard to kill, even if we tank some hits, so I'm kind of playing from the middle and just picking up as much material as we can. Would really like to get the amount that of doubled materials I have stored up to a more reasonable level, because we ended last run with like 300 in the bank. Alright, so we managed to reduce that a little bit. Yes, I'll take crit chance in exchange for a stat we're not using. We can't increase our speed, so even though this is a level 4 upgrade, we don't want to take it, so we'll just take more dodge. And then here, if this were max HP, I would take it, potentially, or armor, or dodge, but over these things, I'm just taking more melee damage. Let's grab bait and combine a spear. We now have an epic level spear. We'll buy these two. Roll for a bait. The dangerous bunny will probably save us money pretty quickly since we re-roll so often. Let's grab this. Taking 1 damage per second in exchange for 12% lifesteal is interesting. We have 4 HP regen a second, so I think the Bloody Hand is going to be worth it for us. So let's grab that. We'll grab this. We'll grab... If I pick this up, can I still get another bait? I can. So we'll grab that. We'll get bait. And we're now up to 68. So the next couple waves, I'm probably going to stop buying other items just to reach my goal of 100 by the end of the run. The 1 damage per second doesn't matter because our regen is so high. And the lifesteal definitely helps in situations where things might get bad for us. I will take like a pickup radius or the gecko or the artifact that pulls all material to you, because we're actually having trouble picking up all the material that we're dropping. So if we see one of those items, I'll prioritize getting it. I really like this character. He's really powerful. And also is the most searched character on YouTube. I think people have had trouble finding good ways to win with him. Here I'm going to take dodge over melee damage. Our damage is fine, and I just want to make sure we're not dying. Alright, plus 2% attack speed for every 1% dodge I have at the cost of 80 range. That's a lot of range, but we've already stacked up a bunch of range, so we're definitely taking this. As I was saying, I think people have had a little bit of trouble finding good ways to win with this character, so definitely want to show off a cool way to win. I've been basing which classes I'm doing on the most searched topics on YouTube, but of course if anyone has a request for what class they'd like to see next, I'm very interested in hearing that. Oh, I should maybe have bought the lower level spear so I could grab one more bait and lock the higher level spear. Let's kill this elite here. Look how fast the elite dies because we've stacked up so much damage. Every attack hitting for 700. Nice 1,000 damage crit there. 1,500 damage crits. I find this class just so fun to play because you stack up these absurd amounts of damage by the end game. Also would be really fun in Endless. Okay, lifesteal and dodge. We'll snap take that one. Going up to our 60 dodge. The incendiary turret I'm going to scrap though. We don't need that. Same with the laser turret. Alright, more armor is perfect for us. And here we've got bait. I'll grab this spear and I will grab the baby gecko, because we talked about that one earlier. And then here, I'm just going to roll for bait, I think, pretty much. We're at wave 17, so I would really like to hit 100 by the end of the round. And I don't think we need any other stats, so I'll do that. Do I even want to stop for a leveled up spear? Yeah, I guess I'll pass on 1 or 2 rerolls for a leveled up spear. Alright, looking really good at this point. We're up to 81. We've got 2 more shops to go, so I need to hit 10 bait per shop if we want to hit 100. This wave is so easy because I can't die and I do infinite damage. Obviously, still need to dodge a little bit because each hit does 9 or 10 every time, and if we tanked a bunch in a row, then we would still die. Alright, HP and melee damage is great, crit chance is great. We certainly don't need 12% bonus damage here, but I'll just grab HP regeneration because I want to save my money in order to buy as many baits as we can. Let's roll once and buy bait. Another weapon that you could use for the Fisherman is the Jousting Lance. It's not a starting weapon, but the medieval weapon buff is really good. I think it's the best weapon synergy bonus. And it does a ton of damage off the bat, so you have to stack less melee damage to do the same amount of damage. Let's grab this. Clover's a really good item, but we don't need it. We've already got maximum dodge. Do I want more trees just for wave 19? No, I think we're just fully on bait. Another item worth mentioning, I rolled past it really quick, but the weird ghost that starts you at 1 HP next wave is always instant death on this character class, so even though I tend to think that's a pretty good item, oh here it is again, I tend to think this is a pretty good and efficient item, you can't buy it on the Fisherman because you'll die immediately. Alright, so how many was that? We're up to 93, so nice, we are going to hit 100. See if we'll hit 2,000 damage criticals by the end of the run, too. I did roll past the lure, which I think maybe I should have taken because it's two loot aliens spawn in the next round, and obviously 2 items for effectively for free because there's 0 chance that we would. Yeah, there's no chance of us not killing them. Is worth a lot of money, so maybe I should have picked that one up in the shop. I just was sort of in a mono bait frenzy. All right, here we go. Minus 6% dodge, but we still wouldn't go below 60, so we'll still pick this up. And here I'm just gonna grab crit chance, and then it's bait. The coupon doesn't do anything for us because we're only spending 1 money every shop. Roll, bait, roll, bait, roll, bait, roll, bait, roll, bait. Okay. So we've got 105 bait. Let me take a screenshot of that real quick for the YouTube thumbnail. Learning the art of YouTube thumbnails one step at a time. All right, and let's go on to wave 20, and let's take a look at the bosses. Oh, there they are. Goodbye, bosses. So yeah, so that's the Fisherman. I really like that character class. We have, what, 105 bait and 878% damage at the end of the run. So I hope you enjoyed this character guide for Brotato. Thanks for watching, my friends, and of course, comment, let me know which class you'd like to see next, and if you want to, you can subscribe to the channel for more of this and other strategy game content. Cheers, folks. GG.